Hello, Internet, and to those of you who celebrate it, a happy Thanksgiving to you all. Just a quick check-in. I'm back from spending Thanksgiving with my grandfather and my aunt. Unfortunately, that was all the family that could get together, at least in that neck of the woods. But I had a great time. We actually went out to eat at a very nice place, and it was buffet style, and it was delicious. It was really nice catching up with family, and certainly with my grandfather, who is 98 years old. I think it's very important that I, get out to see him as often as I can. I hope to get out there for Christmas. I'm assuming I'll be back to work by then, and I work on Christmas Day. It falls on a Wednesday, so I'm thinking I'll probably try to get out there the following Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, because those are my days off. But yeah, it was really nice to see him again, to see my aunt, and to catch up. So it was a good time. In recovery-related news, I had my thoracentesis on Monday, and that went well. Actually, very, very well. The only downside was that it took so long. I got a ride from a friend. I arrived at 8 a.m., and it was about an hour's wait before I actually got in to get it started. They numbed me up with some lidocaine and stuck the tube in, drained out the fluid, and they're actually going to test that for any signs of infection. And then I had to go back to sort of a waiting area. I stayed on my gurney, and it was a room full of gurneys, and I had to wait a full 2 hours. They wanted to keep me for observation, I think, just to make sure that I was going to be okay, that I didn't show any signs of. They said that there were a couple of things that could happen. One was air gets through the puncture into my lung and I can have a collapsed lung. Other things could have happened as well. They took an x-ray and then the 2 hour wait, and then they took another x-ray and they were like, "You're fine, you can go home now." So all told, it was a bit of a day. Like I said, I got in around 8. I left around 1 o'clock. But it went perfectly. Absolutely no problems. Not even any lingering pain afterwards. Once the lidocaine wore off, I felt fine. And I can breathe. I can breathe so much deeper than previously. My breaths were very shallow. But now it's like, it's not putting that pressure on my diaphragm anymore. So now I can take a nice deep breath, which is very nice. And then I was supposed to have my appointment with the oncologist yesterday. And I forgot to set an alarm and I slept right through it because it was an 8 a.m. appointment. So I'm going to have to reschedule again. And other than that, there's not much to report. My next appointment is Monday with the liver surgeon again. And again, it's really just to change the dressing around the drain tube, and just to make sure that the skin hasn't gotten infected, that everything is working as intended. Still got to wait for that CT scan in December. That's going to determine whether or not this thing comes out. Like, they want to be absolutely certain that it is time to take it out. The liver surgeon did say that he could take it out now, but who knows what might happen. So they want to use that CT scan to really kind of make absolutely sure that they're not going to regret that. On a personal note, I realized that it has been a very long time since I started this channel. Coming up on 3 years, in fact. And during that entire time, well, I've definitely included viewers in the difficulties that I've been going through with this, and also the simple joys of my life. I haven't really interacted with you very much. I kind of started to, and then I kind of stepped back from that. And I'm really kind of sorry for that. Um, because while I didn't intend for this to happen when I started the channel, it was really more of, when I got started, it was really more of just a means to chronicle what's happening to me. In the case that I died, I would want there to be some record of my existence and some of my thoughts and philosophies that people could, watch years after I was gone. But then it just sort of like morphed into this catch-all for everything that's going on in my life. I tried a few experimental things on this channel. They didn't really work out. People weren't watching them, so I stopped. And I've really just more focused on the clinical details of my journey in battling cancer. And I think that's a mistake. I really want to reach out more to other people. And I realize I have a platform here. I can do more than just talk about me. I can talk about other people. I can involve you in this experience more than I have. Now, I don't want to jump off the deep end immediately. I want to start light. I want to start easy. And I hope people are comfortable with this. If not, let me know. I'll stop doing it. But one thing that I wanted to start doing is reading some of your comments on my videos. These would be well wishes that struck me as particularly heartfelt and helpful. Maybe somebody's going through something with their own experience fighting cancer and they want some advice, or they want to connect with me on that level. And I think it's important that I don't just blindly keep making videos without acknowledging that you guys are a part of this. I am aware of your presence, and it matters that you're watching, and it matters that you are responding, that you're replying, you're posting comments, you are wishing me well. Your enthusiasm and your joy at my success and your commiseration in my failure, that really matters to me. So again, I hope it's okay with the people who commented. I'm going to read some now. Hannah Kin says, "You look very much alive indeed," which is great. "Chemo sucks, yes, but you're here with us and still fighting. I've been watching your battle since early on. I do remember how rough it was for you. I think you're a hell of a lot stronger than you think or give yourself credit for. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving." Thank you, Hannah. First of all, I want to say, yeah, chemo sucked. I have to admit, it's kind of hard for me to do this because I am ultimately not somebody who likes bragging. It makes me uncomfortable. So I felt like I couldn't really have pride in my ability to cope with this entire situation. When I was first diagnosed, I was absolutely devastated, and it did take me quite a while to adjust. However, I did adjust, and I had to undergo chemo, and I couldn't take time off work, and so I just worked around it. I think I'm finally at a point where I can allow myself a bit of pride in my ability to cope, in my ability to overcome that level of adversity. And yeah, I am proud of myself. I did what had to get done, and I certainly didn't have a good time doing it, but I did it, and I think that's the important thing. So thank you, Hannah. I think you're right. I think I am stronger than I give myself credit for. And I'm just really glad that I am. I would have fallen to pieces a long time ago if not. Susan Doust, and I hope I'm saying that right, Doust, says, "Checked the other day for any updates. So glad to see you're feeling better. Question, does the chemo work? I've decided that if this should come my way, I would opt out of chemo. On the other hand, you are a young man with a whole life ahead of you. It's a tough call for sure. Greetings again from my clan in northern Canada. This one I did actually respond to personally. I'm not going to read that, but obviously I'm not a doctor, and obviously it's a case-by-case basis. All I know is that it helped me. And it was awful. And definitely one of the hardest things I have ever had to go through, but it did its job. And it gave cancer a real hard knock in the head. Like, it shrunk down the tumors enough for them to be operable, so then the surgery could happen. Also, a strong contributing factor was the radioembolization and the microwave ablation. So I can't stress enough how important those were as well. Ultimately, it really does come down to listen to your doctors. You know, if you're unsure if they're giving you the best advice, seek a second opinion. I did. I took a 4-hour car ride with my brother out to Buffalo, New York, so I could get a second opinion from Roswell Park. And I'm really glad they did, because they were the ones that suggested the radioembolization that ended up shrinking and killing most of the tumors in my liver. So there you go. Listen to your doctors, take everything with a grain of salt, and understand that just because one thing works for one person and doesn't work for another person, like it doesn't necessarily apply to your case. Maybe chemotherapy would work for you, maybe it wouldn't. I'm not the person to say. Listen to your doctors. This is the last one I'm going to read. 99 Goat 99 says, I discovered your channel only recently, so I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm Greg. I'm a 50-year-old guy who lives in Massachusetts. I do not have cancer, to my knowledge, but I do have a fair share of medical baggage. But then again, who doesn't have a condition, disorder, or disease by age 50? I'm 41, man. Don't scare me. I only got 9 years until I hit that age. Come on, man. Once a person reaches a maturity level where the realization of mortality sets in, life becomes all the more precious. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, especially in my case. Life seems to speed up. At least it does for me. Me too. I only know you through what you've shared here on these vlogs, but it does my heart good to see you looking well in this update. Thank you. This is not coming from a religious angle. I'm non-religious, but a human one. Each of us is unique with unique abilities and talents. Even identical twins struggle to differentiate themselves from one another. There may be 7.5 billion of us, but that doesn't make you or I any less important or expendable. There are a lot of people who have various illnesses or conditions that take to social media to express themselves and document their journey. You're one of them, and I wanted you to know you've reached me among so many others. If I have one piece of admittedly unsolicited advice for you, it's find your humor. Find laughter. Immerse yourself in things that you find amusing or funny. Cancer cells hate it when you laugh. I know most people aren't in the mood to laugh when they're sick, but that hurdle can be overcome. Just look at all the hurdles you've already left behind you. I'll be in your cheering section from here on out. Here's to the good times ahead. Cheers, Greg. Thank you. Greg, thank you. Like, I'm not even that old, and that full sense of mortality, like I feel like maybe it still hasn't hit me. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes, but I definitely feel that life is precious, and you know, I don't just think it, I feel it. It's in me now. And there were so many times that I thought this was the end. When I was first diagnosed, when chemo was at its worst, and just recently, as I was battling my septicemia following surgery, everyone seems to be hinting without saying that I almost died. So yeah, I almost died. Septicemia is no joke. I am incredibly fortunate to be alive. And I feel that with every fiber of my being. Any number of things could have done me in. and I'm still here. And that is a gift, and I will not look that in the mouth. That is, I will not take that for granted. That is very, I want to do something with that. This extra time that I have been given, I want to do more. I want to have more fun, and in productive ways, in creative ways. I'm a creative person. I want to create more, and I want to involve people in that. And I think that would be the source of laughter that you're talking about, where I can feel accomplished, and I can be with friends, and we can enjoy our time together. I don't want to just be alive. I want to live, and I think I'm doing that, and I'm going to continue to do that, and it feels good. Okay. That was my little experiment in reaching out to the community. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Yeah. Like and subscribe, etc., etc. No. But yeah, if you want to comment, by all means do. If you're not a fan of me calling out people specifically, like some people, when the spotlight is suddenly upon them, they do great. And other people, like me, if the spotlight is suddenly shoved in my face, I freeze. I don't know what to do, and it makes me uncomfortable. So I can understand if people are not necessarily in the mood for me to single them out. So if enough people say, no, don't do this, I won't do it. But if the majority of people say, yes, do this, then I will continue to pick out comments and read them in successive videos. Maybe I can just like end every video that way. And it's sort of like a nice end cap. Like even if the video ends with good news, it's still a really nice uplifting beat to end on. But then if like the video ends on maybe some bad news, I still have that positive beat to kind of bookend the video with. And so I think that it would help me as much as it would help anyone else. That said, I'm going to wrap it up for now. Again, if you celebrate it, happy Thanksgiving. And if you don't, have a happy, happy day. Until next time, take care.